Hare Krishna. And congratulations. In the beginning of the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada said that there is a problem. There is a problem in human society. There is a pinprick in society at large. If you have a pinprick, especially a pinprick in a very tender part of your foot, perhaps, it's very difficult to walk. Very big body, only one tiny thorn. You can't go forward. Your whole consciousness focuses on that thorn, and you have to do something about it. Prabhupada says this is the hard struggle for existence. Struggle for existence consists, he says, of trying to maximize and hold on to happiness, comfort, peace, and to minimize distress and suffering. But the fact is that the material world never allows you to do this for very, very long. So this is a great struggle. On another occasion, Prabhupada said that this feeling that there's something wrong, some pain that I have to form a permanent solution to, is like a person who has been detained for a short while in a mental institution. He knows that he's becoming well when one day he looks around and he thinks, all these people, there's something wrong with them. He comes to the point of understanding, I was not well, these people are not well, and there must be another place where I can live. Now this is the beginning, really, the beginning of our spiritual life. There's something wrong. I'm not quite feeling the same as other people. There's some inner anxiety that I must address, and I must make some changes in my life. As soon as we begin wanting to make those changes, then it becomes very easy to listen to the voice within. This is the original Guru, or Paramatma, our best friend who's accompanied us. Svetashvatara Upanishad said that there are two birds sitting in a tree. One is us, one is the Supersoul. We are pecking the fruits of the tree. Sometimes they are bitter. Sometimes they're not there at all. Sometimes they're juicy. And this oscillation between happiness and sadness is not a good situation. But there's a voice calling us. Just turn your vision towards me, and I shall relieve you of this anxiety. So at this point that we begin looking for people who perhaps think a little bit like us, who perhaps see the world in the same way. Everybody wants to be with people who share their same perspective. People who like sports, they like to be with other people who like sports. People who like books, they like to be with other people who love books. People who like politics, they all gather together. People who think that there's a higher state, a higher level of consciousness, more spirituality that I could incorporate into my life. They like to seek out people who think the same way. And when you found those people, there's a resonance. When you play a Indian musical instrument, the sitar, there's some top strings and there's some resonant strings. You play the top strings, and in sympathy, the bottom strings will also begin to vibrate. So when you find the company of sadhus, something stirs deep within through their words, and you think, yes, I've come home. I've found the people who think like me and who want to have the same goals as me. And out of all those persons that you meet, one of them will be more active in their relationship towards you. One of them will be slightly more friendly. 1, 2, 3, perhaps. Slightly more friendly, more compassionate, will have some time for you. And they will want to help you on your journey. Prabhupada calls this the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. The person who first Pradarshaka shows you the Vartama. Vartama is a line running across a field where the wagon has gone many times, or the footpath where people have trodden before you. So the person that shows you that path, that shows you where to go, this is the Vartama Pradarshaka Guru. In 1977, I was present when Srila Prabhupada came to the West for the last time, and he sat there, and His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj told Srila Prabhupada's life story in brief. And he told the story of how Narendranath Malik introduced Prabhupada. Narendranath Malik asked him to come and meet a very special sadhu. Prabhupada had previously said, my friend Narendranath, he pulled me by the arm. I did not want to go, but he pulled me. And Prabhupada took his arm and said, he pulled me. Prabhupada's father, Gaur Mohan Dey, had entertained so many sadhus in the family home. Some of them were genuine sadhus and some were unfortunately not. And the young Srila Prabhupada had seen so many sadhus. He said, Narendranath, not another one. I have seen so many sadhus. But acting as a good Vartma Pradarshaka Guru, he brought him. And Prabhupada became so interested at the point where Tamal Krishna Maharaj was speaking. And Maharaj could not quite remember the year that Prabhupada was introduced to his Guru Maharaj. So at that point, even though Prabhupada found it very difficult to speak, he said, 1922. Mark Twain, he said that there's only two important dates in your life. One is the day you were born, and the other is the day you find out why you were born. And the day of initiation is the day that you find out why you were born. Because at that point things change. One time they asked Prabhupada, if we already have the Guru in the heart, why do we need a Guru? Well, the answer is sometimes we do not listen. Sometimes we don't listen. They asked Prabhupada, what is a Guru? And he picked up his glasses and he said, now I see you. And he put his glasses on. He said, now I see you better. He said, this is Guru. Transparent media, so I can see better. So Krishna is within the heart. But when he becomes manifest as the chain of gurus that helps you towards him, then our life is very, very fortunate. Must we have a guru? Mundaka Upanishad says yes. It says, Tad Vigyanartham Eva Bigachet. Eva Bigachet means you must. Prabhupada says, certainly you must. You must. What are the qualifications of accepting a guru? And that is found in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a king known as King Nimi. And 9 sages appear before him and begin to give him good counsel. And one named Prabuddha says, he gives him a long list of qualifications for becoming connected with a guru. And basically the qualification is when you've had enough. When you've had enough of the material world. When you've had enough trying to be happy in this way, in this way, in this way, and this way. When you reach that point, then he says, Tasmad, therefore, Gurum Prapadeta. Gurum Prapadeta, surrender to a guru. Gurum Prapadetu, Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. How should we do it? Mundaka Upanishad says, he says, Samitpani. When you want the Guru to deliver you from the blazing fire of material existence, life after life after life, what do you bring him? To be delivered from the blazing fire, the blazing forest fire that no one can put out. What do you bring to the Guru? The Upanishad says, Samit. You bring him firewood. Well, why would you bring firewood when you're asking the Guru to stop the blazing fire of material existence? Because this is a different fire. It's a different fire. This blazing fire is put out by the fire of yajna. So when the disciple helps the Guru in performing his yajna for his Guru, this is the perfection. And the blazing fire is extinguished. The other qualification, find someone who is Brahmanishtam. Someone who has taken shelter of Brahman, Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. Then what do? There was a great Sri Vaishnava Acharya known as Vedanta Deshika, who in the 13th century, he said the disciple should carefully safeguard the possessions and property of the spiritual master. Spiritual masters do not own very much. They don't own very much at all. But he says, you must carefully guard the teachings of the Guru, and you must make sure that those teachings are passed on to others. So in London, in 1973, Prabhupada said that it is incumbent upon the disciple to also become the teacher. And that is how a spiritual movement continues, generation after generation. Spiritual master is very happy when the generations of disciples multiply, because he knows, in our particular case, that the message of Mahaprabhu is reaching fresher and fresher audiences. So some years ago, someone first came to you and told you about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You also have to do that for others. So initiation is also not only the beginning of being a disciple, but the beginning also of a firm commitment to be a teacher. Now what about these coaches? What about these mentors? What about these counselors? What about these Bhakti Vriksha servant leaders? They all perform the same function, bringing us closer, 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 closer. But you know, there is a verse that says, Oma Jnana Timirandasya. Gyan Anjana. Anjana means an ointment. Jnana means true spiritual knowledge. But Shalaka is a tiny little stick. And it's a little stick that the Ayurvedic physician will put under the eyelid to make sure that you don't blink. And so that the ointment stays in your eye long enough to do the good work that it was meant to. Unfortunately, you may like the ointment, you may like good eyesight, you may even like the doctor, but nobody likes the stick. Stick is an unnatural imposition on the eye. Now, the counselor system gives you a counselor. The Bhakti Vriksha system gives you a servant leader. The mentorship system gives you a mentor. Unfortunately, sometimes we call them the tormentor. Because they're there to be the stick. They're there to be the stick, so to keep the eyes open long enough so that the ointment given by the Guru does the good effect. But nobody likes them. And we only pray for the day when we can just take the stick and flick. So I must, on behalf of the mentorship system, the counselor system, and the Bhakti Vriksha system, we must offer a sincere apology for any torment that you may have experienced on the way to sitting here in this beautiful temple room on this wonderful day where the sun is shining. Thank God. It's a heartfelt apology, because we know that just like Lord Shiva guides as the Dikshapal, he guides the Vrindavan area, and people don't get close to Vrindavan without having to pass through Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva has his trident and 3 very sharp points on there, you know. So whether the sharp points have been sadhana sheets, whether the sharp points have been always having to go to a sangha regularly, whether the sharp points have been having to take up a book bag and go on the street and do things that you previously never thought that you had to do. We beg forgiveness, but we hope that it has brought you closer, 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 closer. When we started the mentorship and counselorship, there was protest in this country. You are simply coming in between me and my Guru Maharaj. This was the accusation. You're coming in between me and him. There should be no one in between. My Guru Maharaj knows me, and he would initiate me tomorrow. Well, no. When I was initiated here in 1975, Prabhupada wrote a letter. He said, so now I've accepted you as my twice-born disciple. And he said, but the temple president is your spiritual authority. You have to follow his instructions. And he told the temple president, he said, you must make sure he gets up in the morning, follows the morning program, scrutinizingly studies my books, and goes out for Sankirtan. So Prabhupada put a lot of his power, his Shakti, with the local spiritual authority. But those were the days when 98% of all devotees of this Krishna consciousness movement lived in something we called a temple. Now you would not be surprised to know that 98% of people have never lived in a temple. And perhaps the last time they talked to the local temple president was many, many months ago. So therefore, I don't think I'm wrong in saying, Leelananda, Shruti Dharma, and Jainatai, that a good counselor system, a good mentorship system, relieves the headaches of the local temple president, especially when we have so many devotees who want to become initiated. So we have wonderful systems that took place in Bengal hundreds of years ago, systems that were developed in Chowpatty a decade ago or more. These systems are proving themselves of worth. And it is a fact now, and all of you sitting here is proof, that more devotees are becoming initiated. And even more importantly, more devotees are remaining faithful disciples after initiation, with the system of care and protection being in place. But again, I beg on behalf of all of those who may have been difficult for you on the path, beg an apology. So hoping that you will forgive us. And for me and for all your temple presidents and your mentors and your counselors who are here today, and all of those in the other rooms, this day is a wonderful day that we will continue to remember for the rest of your life and the rest of our life, because it is the day in July when you were initiated. And this is a wonderful, wonderful new beginning, a new chapter in that very important book of life. Hare Krishna.